Joe's good with y'all, man. It's your boy DavidBWylin, and I'm back again with another reaction. We got a mass killer realizes he's been caught years later. We finna get right into this one, so I'll make sure I'm gonna likes up, sub me all that good stuff. Without further ado, let's get it.
Hey, are you Ross? I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing?
This is Ross Velarde. For the last 8 years, he and his wife Amy have been living with a terrifying secret that these detectives are about to expose.
I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015. We'd like to talk to you.
Amy's parents, Mike and Kathy, as well as Amy's grandmothers, Barbara and Violet, were brutally murdered inside their own home in 2015, leaving police with the grueling task of solving a quadruple homicide.
As family members, we want answers.
But unbeknownst to everyone, Ross and Amy were the killers all along.
We're not here because we think you did it or you might have did it. We know you did it. It's piling up, Ross. You don't want to roll the dice on this, I'm telling you.
That's wild.
On November 1st, 2015, Mike and Kathy Scott, alongside their mothers, Barbara and Violet, were found brutally murdered in their trailer home. Everyone was found with similar injuries, a slashed throat and a gunshot wound to the head made after they died. They were also found with knife wounds on their hands, indicating that each victim had tried to fight back before being killed. There were even bloody handprints on the doors and walls, showing that someone had even tried to escape after they'd been stabbed. The terrifying scene inside the trailer home would go completely unnoticed for the entire day, until, according to Amy, she went to check up on her parents and found them lying dead inside their home. And at around 12:30 that day, Amy decided to call 911.
911 was location of emergency.
Oh my God! I need somebody out here.
What's going on?
Oh God!
There's 4 people.
In my mama's house, and
Who are these people that are in the house?
it's my mom and my grandma and my granny and my stepdad.
When Anderson County Police arrived on the scene, they said it was one of the bloodiest scenes they'd ever been to. But something was off. Detectives noted no signs of forced entry and thought it couldn't have been a robbery as there were multiple valuable items left in plain sight inside the home. This made 2 things clear to detectives. Whoever was responsible was allowed inside the home before the acts, and that they only had one thing on their mind: murder. It seemed like this case had to have been committed by someone close to Mike and Kathy, but with insufficient evidence, the case slowly went cold, allowing Amy and Ross to get back on the streets and live their normal lives again for years to come. But police always had their suspicions about this case, and were never comfortable letting it stagnate. Amy's Facebook page showed that she constantly had fights with Kathy and Mike over her children, often calling them narcissistic, emotionally abusive, and disrespectful. What's most disturbing was a video of Ross and Kathy's fighting found on Amy's page, where Ross says something that would come back to haunt him forever.
Why don't you have Grandma come out here real quick?
I don't think your grandma wants to deal with this trash.
I'll show you, stop. Yep, see ya. Hope you die.
In addition to this eerie statement from Ross, police found something that seems damning. They discovered a photo Mike had sent to a coworker just 2 days before his death, a couple of $100 bills. And inside Amy and Ross's trailer was his death, a couple of $100
Give me $20 bills. Who shot me?
bills. And inside Amy and Ross's trailer was a neatly organized stack of $100 bills, exactly the same serial numbers as Mike's. At the time, this was all treated as circumstantial, but slowly more coincidences would begin to line up that gave police enough reason to suspect Amy and Ross as potential killers. So, in 2023, they reopened the case, nearly a decade after the events that put an end to nearly an entire family. Detectives started by launching a series of interviews with Mike and Kathy's closest peers to try and get a better picture of Amy and Ross, and see if they might have been responsible after all. They begin with Mike and Kathy's neighbor, to learn about Amy's relationship with her mom and if he saw anything the day of the incident.
With the daughter, got angry with her and kept the children from Kathy.
So tell us about that.
It seemed that they really tried to help Amy a lot. And Mike and Kathy, they really took care of the kids. And it broke Kathy and Mike's heart. She just really missed the kids, and two older ladies that lived there. They were used to the kids coming in and out.
You think Kathy was afraid at all of Amy and Ross?
No, she never expressed that. But it was always the talk of the area that Mike would go to flea markets and he would get some kind of video games that he collected. There was a good resale market for them, and that he would buy any old jewelry that had some gold in it. It was always a rumor that he kept a lot of cash and gold stuff around.
Not only did Mike collect jewelry and other rare memorabilia, but it was well known in the community that Mike always had a large sum of cash with him because he feared putting money into the banking system. This made Mike a large target, especially amongst those who knew him well.
I think you've got to be one sick puppy to go in there and kill two helpless old women. The thoughts that somebody came in and killed those people, I still have nightmares about that.
This tells detectives that the murder could have been done for financial reasons, especially since this fact wasn't a secret at all. Couple this with the fact that Mike's money was currently sitting safely inside Ross and Amy's safe at home. A picture is starting to form of what might have actually happened that night. But still, nothing is certain at all, and police next head to Roxy Voorhees, an ex-employee of Amy and Ross's, who worked at their pet grooming business during the months leading up to the crime. Roxy had spoken to Amy almost every day for months before the incident, so if anyone had some information to give, it'd be her. And they were exactly right. What they found was so sinister, it blew the case wide open.
Ross had made a joke and said, do you want me to It was a joke at the time.
Right.
Then later I was like, holy, I'm glad I didn't say yeah.
It's Amy, right? What was your job there?
A bather, and I was learning in the process of grooming.
When you worked for the shop, you said they were just getting started, so they weren't very successful yet.
They appeared that they were fine.
Okay.
But then I would hear arguments of them, and a lot of it was money related. When I started working for her, I seen Kathy and Mike at the grooming shop. I was in the back grooming, so I didn't hear everything that was going on, but it was something to do with money.
Okay.
Throughout working there, she'd always tell me about how she was treated growing up and all of that.
What kind of stuff would she say about how she was treated?
She told me that she was always a daddy's girl, and she said her dad had he was working on a car and it crushed him, and he was placed in the hospital. And her mom decided to pull the plug. She always hated her mom to death.
Detectives learned that their grooming business wasn't as successful as they claimed it was. Based on bank records collected by police, Amy and Ross's proven income in 2013 was $25,622. However, in 2014, Ross spent $14,200 on a Ram truck, $5,700 on a Mustang, $10,000 on a Harley FXE, and another $5,000 on a Harley XL. Close to $35,000 on luxury purchases, but an income of just $25,000. With these poor financial
You know what they were doing on the side.
decisions, the couple needed money, and they needed it badly. In 2014, their business fell short, making just over $3,000 for the entire year. Things were bad, and they were on the brink of bankruptcy. So when the cops found $67,000 in cash hidden in their home, they knew something seriously strange was going on. Ross claims that he'd been saving the money for years, but detectives don't buy it at all. They're certain that, at a minimum, Ross and Amy had to have stolen from the house on the day of the murders. But to some extent, this was all known about 8 years ago, and it's still all circumstantial. For all the cops knew, Amy could have noticed the dead bodies in the trailer and grabbed the cash out of desperation before calling the police. So there had to be something that set this investigation apart from the one back in 2015. However, this case would take a complete 180 after detectives would find their most blatant, crucial piece of evidence yet. When going through all the CCTV cameras throughout the town on the day of the murders, police found footage of Ross walking out of a gas station that night. Nothing is suspect at first, until you look a little closer. The shoes he's wearing are Asics Gel Speedstar 5s, a model whose sole design just so happens to perfectly match the bloody footprints that were found inside the trailer. This claim was even confirmed by the shoe company themselves, and the pattern is unique to this specific model, making it clear to detectives that Ross Velarde is a cold-blooded killer. All the evidence had come together. The abundance of cash in Ross and Amy's home, Mike's $100 bills in Ross's safe, identical shoes to the killer, and an ugly past with Mike and Kathy. Police now believe they have everything they need to charge Ross and Amy with the murders. So, on December 11th, 2023, they decide to confront Ross and Amy at their new home to finally uncover the truth about that night once and for all.
Not the new home. So they went crazy. They were spinning.
Hey, are you Ross? I'm Tyler Duncan. I'm with Anderson County Sheriff's Office. This is Steve.
How you doing? How's it going?
I got assigned the case about the homicide that happened in Pendleton in 2015.
Okay.
Is Amy here?
Sure.
So since she's the one that called 911, I think you were there also. We'd like to talk to you. If you want to come on out, we'll talk to you and then we can talk to her. Can you describe, I guess, your relationship with Mike and Kathy?
I had a good relationship with Kathy. My relationship with Mike was really great, actually. It kind of turned sideways a little bit July 4th.
So I think y'all had got married that year, is that right?
Correct.
In 2015?
Yes, October 24th.
The 24th. That would have been, what, about a week or so before?
Yep. The last time that I saw Mike and Kathy was before Amy and I left to come down that Halloween. We had just gotten back from my mom and dad's. She went to knock on the back door, but the back door kind of just like was already cracked open or something like that. And that's when she apparently found the scene that she found. She went bolting back out of the house. I think she called 911 before she called me, if I remember correctly.
So you didn't go over to the other trailer?
No.
Over to Mike and Kathy's trailer?
Correct. I never went in that trailer that day.
So after you last seen them, you never went in their place again?
Correct. Yeah.
The detectives are baiting Ross into a trap, as they know based on the footprints that Ross did without a doubt step into the house on the night of the murders. Later on, they'll be able to confront Ross about these blatant lies in hopes they can shock him into a complete confession.
There was a couple things that kind of were red flags, but I don't know if they have anything to do with this or not. Mike bought and sold a lot of items, and some of the people that he was buying from were pretty shady sometimes. So that's another kind of red flag that I had as I was trying to just replay like events leading up to the homicide. Should I have seen something?
We're just starting out with this. If you were us, what would you do? What do you think happened there, Ross?
He's the first gentleman that's asked me that. TV shows that I watch always say, follow the money. And you find out where the real motives are.
Ross is unknowingly digging himself into an even deeper hole. When the money is traced, it leads right back to his and Amy's pockets. But there's only so much Ross can do. The police aren't telling him that he's their main suspect, so all he can do is keep on lying, devastatingly unaware that they've already unraveled his entire scheme.
They destroyed our business. From January to when this happened, I made just shy of $100,000 with our mobile grooming business. As soon as this happened, with all the media coverage, all of that went away because of this.
And you said you had a large amount of money in your single wide. Is that where the money came from?
The money that was in our single wide in my safe, about $80,000, that was literally the life savings between Amy and myself.
The detectives know Ross is lying through his teeth, but for the sake of having a civil conversation with Amy, they'll hold off on confronting and accusing Ross until after their talk with Amy.
Just shovel the bullshit out of that front seat right now so Amy can get in.
Mm-hmm.
He's the victim, you know.
Oh, I got that very quickly. But follow the money.
Follow the money.
You could tell that he's...
Yeah, I saw him.
And every time he's talking, he can't look at you in the face.
I know. You got a tiger by the tail here, though, buddy. Don't think you don't. This is a career case, let me tell you.
Your grandmother.
Hey, bro. They ain't letting up. I respect it, bro.
And then, obviously, Mr. Scott and his mom. What do you remember? What can you help us with? Where should we look?
Yeah, me and my therapist talk about that a lot. Obviously, you got to know finding people doesn't really leave you in the right state of mind. Can do things to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then everything that ensued. I mean, honestly, I can barely remember the funerals.
Ross, tell us a little bit about like the relationship between, like, I guess y'all and the family. Something happened
we got into it around 4th of July or something with Mike, but he wasn't a nice person at all. Because I told my mom, look, I don't like it. My kids can't come over there until we straighten some stuff out.
So at the time of the murders, you and your mom were back talking, everything was kind of getting patched up?
Me and my mother was not a horrible person. She was prickly.
She always hated her mom.
So can you tell us a little bit about that weekend when were you gone, when you got home and you found the bodies, or what happened?
His mom, my mother-in-law, to do Halloween. We went down there, we spent the weekend.
What day did y'all? Friday night.
I drove myself quite crazy for about a couple of years there. And I've chosen to step away, and I've got to be healthy, and I've got kids, and I've got a life to live, and if somebody else dropped the ball on it, it's not on me anymore.
Okay. Well, if we just ask Ross a couple more things, and we'll be out of here.
Now that Amy has been spoken to as well, detectives are ready to drop the ball on Ross and let him know that they don't suspect him of the murders. They know he did it.
A couple more things, and we're going to get out of here, okay? There was something that had come up. You remember owning a red pair of shoes?
A pair of shoes?
ASIC Speed Star shoes.
Don't recall.
These ASIC Speed Star shoes.
Okay, I remember those shoes.
What happened?